my biggest mistake was not having a budget, not sitting down strategically coming up with a marketing plan at all, and definitely not being as visible on social media at the beginning as I should have been.
Hello. Welcome back to Zempath Radio. I am your host, Ryan Son, and today I'm sitting down with Stephanie Garrett, owner and operator of S Courier and Transportation. She's also a consultant for Stunningly Stephanie. She has a lot of great insight on this industry. She's been dealing with this industry for a long time. So she's going to be going over a lot of questions that you guys have been asking prior. So you're going to want to stick around to the end of this video and catch all the details. But before we dive into today's interview, I have to tell you about our new dispatch software. Zempath is our new NEMT dispatch software for sure to save you hours of time. Spend less time worrying about where your drivers are and spend more time on what really matters, such as providing the best experience possible for you and your riders. Zempath is fully customizable to fit your company. It simplifies your workforce, so onboarding employees is a breeze. We live in a technology world, so there's absolutely no reason to be writing schedules down by hand because Zempath is 100% free. So if you're interested in trying our software, we'll put a link in the comments below. Let us know what you think because we want to provide the best software out there for you all. So without further ado, Stephanie, welcome to Zempath Radio.
Thank you for having me, Ryan.
No problem. I know you just got back from your trip. How was your trip?
Man, it was amazing. I probably should not take 7 days off, like a 7-day vacation.
Are you still in vacation mode or are you kind of back?
Well, you know, they say you gotta take a vacation from the vacation. So
yeah.
When you come back, you can't. I feel sorry for people that have to dive right back in. I set my schedule so I had like a couple days, you know what I'm saying, to wind down. But you see, I still got my tan. I mean, I soaked up a lot of sun.
Awesome. And what better way to come back is dive right into the NEMT, right? So Stephanie, before we dive into the questions, we want to answer a few common questions that we've been receiving a lot of. So let's dive into a couple of questions. So the first question is, someone's name is T to the K. T to the K asked, you should ask what a beginning NEMT courier should charge for private pay when just starting out.
So that's a kind of tough question because I know for me, pricing is really hard. It doesn't matter. It just pricing is tough. What I started with was taxi rates. Like that's how I kind of started. But that goes back to when you first start your NEMT business, before you get anywhere and do anything, you have to do your research. And research means you got to check out the competitors, that competition, because you want to know what they're charging. And you don't want to charge more than what they're charging, but you at least want to have an idea. So people are like, well, how did you get your competition rates? You go on their website, well, you call and act like, look, my grandma need a ride, and you act like you booking it, you know that you need some information, and you find out what they're charging per mile. So you got to have a per mile rate. You got to have a base rate. You have to have a no call, no show rate. Like you gotta have the rate. So if somebody decides that, you know, they're gonna have you sitting and waiting, like my rate is, if I wait more than 15 minutes, it's another rate. So you have to sit down and jot all that stuff down before you even begin to think about going to a company or for private pay. Because they're gonna ask you what's your rate. They're gonna ask you what's your mileage rate. They're gonna ask you what's your, your weight. So you gotta have an idea. And the only way you would know to do that is research. So you gotta check your state. Every state and every city may be different. That's the best way I can tell people.
Awesome. So our next question is from Michael Jean.
Okay.
How old should your NEMT vans be?
Look, don't get no Fred Flintstone vehicles, okay? But now when I first started, I did mine a little bit different. When I first started, I told this story before, like I had a Nissan Altima, which is a great vehicle, and I had a Toyota Tacoma. Those vehicles were both like, in fact, my Toyota Tacoma is like a 2012 or something like that. It's an older truck. But my Nissan Altima was a 2016, I think. So when I first started, I started with Medicaid patients through brokers. But I would tell people, like, don't get vehicles that are too old, but don't get too bogged down in the year of the vehicle per se. Then if the vehicle's been taken care of. So two of my vans are 2015. One is a Dodge Caravan. The other is a Chrysler Town and Country. They're both the same year, and they were in great condition when I bought them, low miles, and that's what I wanted, something with low miles. So you don't want to buy something that, is like a 2015 like mine, but it might have 190,000 miles on it or 200,000 miles. So I wouldn't go no less than like 2015, 2014, somewhere like that. Depending on who you're working with, they're gonna say no more than like 10 years old.
Okay. So we're gonna go over one more question and then we'll dive into that more. Okay. So this is a question from Kelsey Corti. Sorry if I'm getting that last name wrong. But Kelsey said, great interview. Could we get more questions regarding prices of their service?
Of my service?
Yeah. So I think it's like private pay, what is the general fee to get to and then I guess from or a round trip?
That's such a tough question.
Yeah.
My current base rate is $30.
$30. Okay.
$30 base rate literally means what it's going to take for me to get out my pajamas, my slippers, but what it takes for me to leave my house and get to you, right? And then I have a per mile rate. Right now with gas, my per mile rate is $3 per mile. And so, but the rate kind of depends on it's a lot of variables in that. So if you go into like a vet home and you have like four people that need to go to a daycare during the day, and you pick them up and you take them. Well, that's 4 people. You wouldn't want to go to that facility and say, I'm going to charge $30 per person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would have to say, okay, that's $130 mile, but you may have an additional rate for other passengers. And it shouldn't be too crazy. But to me, that's just a matter of sitting down and talking to that facility or that logistics person and determining what works for you, where you're making a profit, but where you're not, being too expensive to where they're going to go to another carrier or another company.
I see. All right. So that's the end for the questions. We have a little bit more at the end. So stick around, you guys. So let's dive into a little bit more about Stephanie. Let's find out who Stephanie is. How did you get into the NEMT industry?
Oh man. So for 15 years, I was a police officer.
Wow.
And while I was a police officer, I started a side hustle, which was where Stunningly Stephanie came from. So you see my Cricut and my heat press back there. I would do custom products. So I love crafting. That was just my thing. You want a custom doormat, you want a door hanger, you want anything customized for your home or apparel. And so that's how I started. And so as time, progressed, I was like, so I got one of the things I invested in, which people don't think they have to, but I invested in a business coach. And so once I registered my business, and I thought I was doing stuff right. I got me a business coach. And she was like, you need to work on this area, you need to do this, you need to do better with social media. So fast forward, she started a mentoring group, and it's a monthly fee, and it's group coaching. It's not catered to one particular person, one particular business. And so while she was doing that, she would do trainings every month. And one of the trainings was on recession-proof incomes or recession-proof businesses. And she talked about non-emergency transportation. I was like, sound really good. And so when she started talking about it, I did my research, and I didn't know anybody in my area that was doing it. I didn't know anybody, period. Like I knew, like I had family members or friends, family members that were in nursing homes or assisted facility that were transported, but I didn't know what that really looked like. I just thought it was a company, that facility taking them. So I did my research, and I was like, look, I have adult kids. My youngest is 26. So I was like, this is something that we could all do together. And I started figuring it out. I worked on my plan. I went back to my business coach, and I was like, this is what I want to do. What you think? And she was, she gave me some pointers. And then I went from there. I reached out to Medicaid, got my Medicaid number, got set up as a transportation provider, and I went from there, and that's it. That's how I transitioned. But I ended up leaving my 9 to 5. So doing this, I had to make a choice, and so I chose to be a full-time entrepreneur.
Would you say that having that mentor kind of kind of give you that speedway kind of approach versus like a long way approach?
I think if you're a business owner or entrepreneur, you have to have a business coach. There's no way. And a lot of times people kind of get misled and saying, well, you could, nothing against YouTube, you could go on YouTube, social media, somebody, but if you're not talking to, and you don't have the right people in your circle, you're not talking to the right people that can truly help you grow as a person and grow your business, then you're doomed for failure. So when I joined the mentoring group, it's like $50 a month. The best $50 I ever spent ever for my business. And my business coach, I pay her monthly, and I meet with her every month. But that was the best because it made me kind of think, made me forward think, like it made me think about the future of my business versus what was going on right then. So definitely the business coach, the path.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like she has like a lot of great knowledge because you mentioned the importance of social media and being persistent. And I think I was talking to you earlier about how I was like, Stephanie's so persistent, when we were last talking, I was telling you how persistent you were. I went back to TikTok and I was like, it says Stephanie posted one hour ago. Like, even before we even talked, it's like she's on it.
I did. You gotta be on it, man. That's the wave of the future. Like that's.
Yeah, absolutely. So it seems like there's a lot of knowledge in getting a mentor in this space, for sure.
Yes, for sure.
So how many vans do you currently own in your fleet?
So right now I have 2 minivans, and I have a SUV. I have a Dodge SUV.
Okay. What type? I mean, are they? The first one you said the second one is a Dodge. What is the first one?
Chrysler. Town and Country. They are the same.
Town and Country. Okay.
They're all made by the same company. But yeah.
Got it. So let's talk about numbers. How much revenue does this industry bring in, roughly?
So
annually.
So when I first started, I just broke even, and I didn't make any profit. I was able to pay myself back because I gave my business a loan to pay for, the Medicaid certification and all that different stuff, insurance, deposit. And so I was able to break even like the first year, which I think when I started, it was like half a year. I was like in August or September, something like that.
Mhm.
So then I knew, okay, I wanted to make 10 grand a month. Like that was my goal. I started off and I said, I want to be able to make 10 grand a month. So for those first months, I told you I didn't, I didn't, I didn't do it. I didn't make 10
Mhm.
grand a month, but I knew what my issue was. So when I was going back to look at what I was doing, I knew that the brokers were my problem. And I say that in not a disrespectful way to brokers, but I knew for my business, that I wasn't making a profit. So that's when I started with private pay.
Mhm.
And then I started thinking about other ways to provide transportation. So I included physically taking people and transporting people with carrier, where I'm transporting cargo or packages. So between those two, like my first full year, I easily did 6 figures.
Wow.
But that was with me including several elements to my NEMT business and not just, transporting people that do brokers or Medicaid or insurance.
Mhm. Mhm. So are you 100% private pay at the moment, or are you still doing a little bit of brokers or?
I have like one broker, and I don't know why, I just kind of like them
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
I had them when I first started, but I don't service them here in Charlotte. I service them in the Winston-Salem, Greensboro area where my
I see.
other drivers at. So I
I
still
see.
have one that's in the mix.
I see. So when dealing with private pay, do you have to negotiate your prices? Do you have to deal with that a lot? Or do you have, I know you mentioned, the base pay of $30.
Mhm.
But when you have specific customers, maybe they have special requests or whatever it may be, do you have to negotiate your prices, or do you still have this like fixed structure of pay?
No, I don't negotiate.
That's
Like,
good.
so when
Yeah,
I
yeah.
first started, I felt like I had to do that. And I think that's with any business. When
Hmm.
you first start, you feel like you have to do that in order to get that customer.
Hmm.
But then when you turn around and you give somebody else your rate and they write the check or they say, okay, then you realize the person that you might have was trying to negotiate with was not your client. That was not your customer. That was somebody else's customer, but it wasn't my customer. So when I tell people my rate, what it's going to cost me, then that's my rate. I send you the invoice, or we talk about it, and I haven't really had where people say, well, I'm not going to pay that, or that's too much, or I don't hear back from. At this point, like now it's kind of, especially with gas, it's really kind of hard to say,
Yeah.
if I'm charging you this rate per mile when gas is over $3 a gallon,
Hmm.
you know what I mean? So I think it's just really being comfortable with your price and standing
Standing
firm on
firm.
your price.
Yeah, yeah. I'm guessing you put the rates online, or how do you like send the rate sheet beforehand, or?
Yeah, like so right now, like my biggest client is the school system, and the
Okay,
school
so it's a
system
contract
pay
in place.
like right. So
Hmm.
they pay well over what my rate is actually.
Got it. Got it.
Um, it's another company that I have under contract, and they pay my rate,
Hmm.
so I didn't have to. I didn't really, and then I put in my contract. Like that's a lot of that may be something else that people don't think about
Hmm.
is you have to put in your contract in that fine print or cover it with people that you know you got to have fluctuation with gas. So if you did your contract with somebody in January and now here it is July and gas has spiked and you still charging the same rate, then you may be losing out. So you have to put in there like a fuel surcharge in the contract to where, okay, when gas start going up, I'm gonna go and listen, Susan. We gotta talk about this thing, listen, Tasha, like this is what's going on. Prices, gas is going up, and we're gonna have to talk about this thing. And I haven't had any issues with people saying like, look, we can't pay that.
You mentioned like students. So you're doing like you do like a lot of like elderly transportation and students also. Is there like I can only imagine what it's like to transport students, right? Like it just sounds hectic and like a lot of stories every day, right?
It's not, no.
Is it
somebody else said, look, no, they not. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really talk to them. Like the face that you see right now is the smiling face. The face that you see right now is the private pay face. When the kids get in the van, I'm like, "What's up?" or "How you doing?"
Yeah.
Put your seatbelt on. Turn the music on, and I play Pandora, Kirk Franklin, Red Channel every day. You know what I'm saying? When you get in my car, when the kids get in the van and they hear Jesus playing,
yeah, you can't.
They might be thinking like, I don't know if I want to mess with this
you found the system. You beat the system.
But honestly, like I love transporting the kids. Like I really do, because what I didn't know what sparked where they would contract, or they would have companies other than them going on the bus. So you have kids, their family live in a hotel. You have kids that may be troubled at school. You may be kids that live in foster care or orphan.
Yeah.
And so if they get on the school, if you live in a hotel and the school bus come pick you up, can you imagine? Kids are cruel. Like, so the fact that's a option for non-emergency, and I hate to say like NEMT, because I know that's what we call, but I just take the medical out of it. I just say non-emergency transportation.
Yeah.
When people say, well, what do you do? If you're not going to buy ambulance, like people say, if you don't need to be going to the emergency room, then NEMT business owners can take you wherever you want to go, literally. Like physical therapy. Like if you can go out and talk to people that go for cosmetic surgery that need rides, people that get gastro surgery, like
post-op, right? Yeah. And if you have the vehicle, why not, right? Why not try to use the vehicle as much as you can, right?
Right.
Much, clientele. Like you mentioned, it should go under one umbrella, non-emergency transportation, right?
Right.
It doesn't have to just be medical,
It have to be medical.
Yeah. Don't marginalize yourself, right? No, that's great. That's great advice. It's just funny because like I just remember being a kid and it's like, but like hearing your experience, it sounds all right.
It's really not that bad. Like most of the time they get in my van, they sit in there, they put their seatbelt on.
And it's just smooth. Yeah.
Ride.
Maybe because they're riding with Stephanie. Maybe it's a different story. Maybe it's
and a couple of them, like, after you assign the same kids for the whole school year.
Yeah.
So after 3 weeks of seeing me, they kind of like, okay, and I'll be like, oh, okay, what I'm saying, how was school today? And they're like, oh, it was all right. I'm like, man, it's school. What you worried about? That's all you got to do is go to school. And I try, especially for the ones that, maybe going through some hardships or some other things, I try to lighten it up. So, I'm like, look, man, that's all you got to do. I say, look at me. I'm right here driving you to school. I got more of a headache. And so, but I enjoy the kids. The older people, sometimes they can be a little picky and scroogey. And
so everybody, wants to get clientele. And I mean, it sounds great, right? But I'm sure there's no like magic pill that just like, you know what, I'm gonna just go this route. I'm gonna just go the students route, or I'm gonna go the medical route. So how is it that if I'm going to start tomorrow, how do I get clients, right? What do I do? How do I get the contract with the school? I know it's an umbrella term. That's an umbrella question, but it's just like
it's so tough.
Yeah,
it's tough. And where people fail is they don't want to do the work. So listen, this is a hard field to get into if you want to make your own blueprint. I just chose me, Stephanie. I chose not to follow what everybody else is doing. So some people was like, well, when you gonna get a wheelchair? I don't want a wheelchair vehicle. That works for you in your business, but right now I don't want a wheelchair vehicle. I think people are so like, even in the Facebook groups, people are so stuck on brokers. Like it's so bad that people doubt themselves on getting private pay clients. Now I ain't gonna lie, I ain't even gonna front, Ryan. It is hard as hell, but the reward on the end is so much better. You have to. This is what I did. I hired this guy. I only say this guy. It's a company. It's called Ride. It's called Whole Ride. Whole Route.
I think I've seen that somewhere on your TikTok. Yeah.
And so they did my transportation website. As a bonus to them doing my transportation website. You know what they gave me?
What they give you?
I got 700 leads for Charlotte by itself. Wow. So what he did was eliminate me having to go to Google. So if you don't have what I have, then what you have to do is go to Google. Like Google is your best friend. You're gonna go type in skilled facilities, nursing homes in your area. When I first moved to Charlotte, before I got my website through them, I just rode around. Like when I first moved here, I just rode around. I took like literally a week to say, that's all I did. I put on a polo shirt that I made and put my business name on it, put some slacks on, cleaned my van up, and I physically went to those locations, and I probably got like 15 no's. Like the first 3 days, people were like, nope, nope, nope. No, or they was like, no, the no wasn't like just a nasty no. It was like, oh, well, we have in-house transportation. We already working with this.
Sometimes those are worse than the actual no, because it's like it leaves you kind of hanging. It's like, we're gonna, we had this. Maybe come back next. It's like,
come back,
just tell me no. Just tell me no. It's easier.
Just say no. Like just tell me no. But when you tell me no, but you got this, and I'm like, oh man. So I still talk to them, and I was like, I appreciate you taking the time. I ordered folders from Amazon, and I put a flyer with my rates, with a business card, and I had some pins. I can't find that. I got some pins made with my business name on it. And I left pins. And so I was like, if anything changes, give me a call, and a couple of them called me back. In fact, like one lady, when I left that same day, one of her clients called me to do transportation. I think her and her husband was moving from one nursing home to another. And so they called. So I think it's really just getting out and being a salesman for your business. Really.
Yeah. Let them know that you're in town, right?
Right. You gotta let them know, like, I'm here. Like Muhammad Ali said, champ is here.
Champ is
but
here.
you gotta be really confident when you're talking to people about your business. And you gotta know what you're talking about. And that goes back to what I first said. You have to do your research, and you gotta know your industry. Like, you gotta know. Because as soon as they ask you a question, you're like, I don't know that, or you tell them a lie.
That's actually a good thing, because I was gonna ask you, is door-to-door still effective in 2022, right? As opposed to just, posting an ad on like Facebook or Google, yeah, like, I mean, you mentioned, handing out pins, right? That's a door-to-door method, and it sounds like it was effective for you.
Right.
So, I mean, what's your opinion? I mean, do you think it's still like very
I think
effective?
door-to-door still works. Like you would probably think for most businesses or for most industries, door-to-door is not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
But for non-emergency medical transportation, door-to-door works. Social media, Facebook works. Like, I don't know if you're gonna find a lot of nursing home administrators on TikTok. You might find them on Facebook, but people are sleeping on LinkedIn. Like if you're not on LinkedIn, and that's another one because that's mostly business professionals that's on LinkedIn. But door-to-door works for me, and I'm getting out attending networking events. So like part of my monthly goal is to at least attend 2 networking events.
How do you find out about these network events? Is that in is that the perks that come with getting that mentor and being a part of that community, or like how do you find out about these events?
What's funny is Eventbrite. If you go to Eventbrite and you type in you do a filter with your city and state and put in business, and it'll bring up a ton of networking events. I also went to if you have like what's it called? BDI, diversity and inclusion, like business like with your local city. They have different events, and then the Chamber of Commerce. I always attend the Chamber of Commerce events because they always have like coffee and something in the evening, but you get to meet people. Like I met people that work at a hospital. Right? So if you work at a hospital, then maybe I need to talk to you, and I send you my information, whether it's my business card or my capability statement, I send that to you, and hopefully that helps. But I just started going to Chamber of Commerce events like maybe 2 months. Like,
it seems like a great opportunity to hand out also your pins and whatnot also, right? Pins and flyers also, right? And really do that business dev. Yeah.
But you can't sit you can't sit in the house. We
outside.
Look, we outside. Like you can't, and some people may be shy, some people may, but you definitely
actually brought me to another question. Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. Because my first question is, to bring these these things to the event, right? Pins and whatnot. How much does it cost to get pins made? You say you make shirts, right? You used to make shirts and you used to do the whole. How much do these things cost, right? Are they expensive? Do you need to
market?
I mean, like, do you have to have a big savings to do these kind of things?
So I tell any business owner, like, you have to have some form of a marketing budget. I don't care what you're gonna do, whether it's pins, whether it's Facebook ads, Instagram ads, you gotta have a marketing budget, and you gotta sit down and strategically do that thing. If you're trying to wing it, and I'm only saying it because I tried winging that stuff, and it don't work. It don't work. So I ordered some pins. I want to say these pins cost me, and I got like.
Let's see. Hold it up to the camera. Let's see a little bit closer. You got your name on there? It's official. Yeah. Nice.
Listen, I'm official. I got pins and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Next thing I'm gonna get some notepad. I'm gonna make it official.
You got your flyer too. You got your flyer by you? You get your flyer somewhere near you? Let's see that.
What's crazy is the guy that did my website, he did my flyer. He did my flyer for me too. I can't find one.
It's all right. It's all right. We can get it later.
But it's like
I can put it on the screen. So I will show everybody. So I'll put it on the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the flyer, he just made it a basic background with my rates and email. But shameless plug, if you're not on Canva, you can make this stuff. Like I literally make my own business cards in Canva. Ooh. And you do your own stuff and then you just get it printed. Like you take it to FedEx or Office Depot, Staples, and you let them print it for you. But you can do that stuff yourself. He just did it as part of me getting the website and software. He did the flyer for me.
It's interesting because it sounds like there's a huge. Well, it sounds like a lot of the NEMT space, especially with private pay, it's a huge misconception between like private pay being like just B2C, meaning business consumer, right? Going door by door, just knocking on doors, private residences and saying like, hey, I'm in the area.
Right.
But it sounds like a lot of it has to do with B2B, which is building that business to business relationships, with the schools, with the hospitals, nursing home facilities, and really kind of like targeting them versus the independent. So yeah, that's very interesting.
It's definitely business to business.
Yeah.
It's definitely.
So, okay. So you have to give me an interesting story, Stephanie. What's the biggest mistake that you've made in marketing your business?
Dude, I don't even got mistakes. Listen, I don't even have to think about this, Ryan. I'm about to cuss. It's not doing any and not having a marketing plan, like a real plan. And I'm just not talking about posting on social media. Like marketing. And what helped me is because one of my really good friends, when I was a police officer, her master's is in marketing.
Okay.
And so my whole idea with marketing was like, look, I'm gonna market my stuff on social media. Like, what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? And she's like, no, that's a facet or a part of marketing.
That's top level. Yeah. Level.
I just wasn't doing anything. Like when I first started, I was like, what you mean? Like I'm gonna transport you. Like there's people that need to be transported. Surely my phone is gonna be ringing off the hook. I didn't do it. My biggest mistake was not having a budget, not sitting down strategically coming up with a marketing plan at all, and definitely not being as visible on social media at the beginning as I should have been. Like I wasn't on social media like that. I might do a video here or there, but I didn't do any social media, any plan. I didn't sit down and talk to nobody about how can I market my business. So that was an epic failure for me.
I think that's what makes you a great like mentor, right? And also like someone that go to for consultations, right? Because not only are you transparent, but you've experienced a lot of these situations, right? You know where you are missing, you're lacking, right, with the marketing, and you can speak about it, and so you can save a lot of other people time and money, right? So I think that's great that you're kind of like very, very vocal about it. That's awesome. So let's dive into like a few more comments from the viewers, and then I want to talk about your challenge, your $10 challenge, right?
Yes.
All right. So we have a question from Samson. I don't know how to pronounce the last name, but Samson.
You saying like Samson or Samsung, like the phone? Samsung?
No, Samson. SAMSON.
Okay.
How do I get insurance for my van? I need useful information, please. I'm about to get into the business.
He kind of bullshit. He owned that thing. Like, I need useful information.
He wastes no time.
This is what I could tell people about insurance.
Okay.
And then again, this is a mistake I made at the beginning. Is I did my research and knew that I had to have insurance. I did not do a good enough job at the beginning of researching multiple insurance companies. So when I needed the insurance, it was like I needed it yesterday, because when I was going through the Medicaid process, they were like, well, you got to get $1.5 million coverage right now. And I was like, well, I ain't even got no people in the car. So that was my that was another failure at the beginning. But once I got that policy, I was like, all right, I'm gonna pay for this one, but I'm gonna do some research and get some more. My deposit, just the deposit, was like $1,500. That was, so when people say this is not one of those businesses that you can go into with $0. If you ain't got no money, then you might need to raise some money, or get a business loan or a loan if you just want to start. But you have to put a deposit. My monthly payments run for my 3 vehicles about $700 something a month for 3 vehicles.
I see.
And I have National General. They're really good. I haven't had, thank God, I haven't had any incidents, but when I need to get like a certificate of insurance or paperwork, they are pretty spot on. I get it within minutes. I want to say Progressive is another company that offers commercial insurance, because everybody doesn't offer it, and you can't say I'm gonna try to sneak and use my State Farm and my Allstate, your personal policy, because it's not gonna work.
I see. All right, so we have another question from DMF Builders.
Okay.
Can you share a video about NEMT insurance? I know we just talked about insurance, on what to expect and some carrier samples for newbies.
Some carrier, like what type of insurance, or what companies? What companies?
I guess just what to expect from insurance. Share a video about insurance on what to expect, and
insurance, the commercial insurance is just like private insurance. So what you can expect, if you got a jacked up driving record, you can expect to pay more. Like that's what
so have a clean record. Yeah.
Have to have a really good driving record. And I can say, thank God, I have a great driving record. And you can't have a whole lot of accidents. If you do, you're gonna pay more. So when people say, well, how much can I expect to pay? I can't tell you that, but that goes back to research. You need to call, because my driving record is good, thank God, and I may be on the low end, but if you've had 2 tickets and 2 accidents, then you may be closer to the high end on the insurance. So you just, you can call. It's a few companies like that will take your information, your driving history, your driver's license, and they will do all the legwork for you, meaning they will call and get the rates and they will bring it back to you. That process normally takes like 5 days. And
it's not too bad. Yeah,
and they'll give you, okay, this is the cheapest and this is the more expensive, the pros and cons, and you just kind of go from there. But I think what people kind of mistake is they don't do their research at the beginning.
I see. All right, so we have another question also from DF Builders. Do you offer coaching for newbies who want to start an NEMT business?
So I do. I do have where I offer one-on-ones. I also do where it's like a session, and it's similar to like just picking my brain, where you have a couple of questions or you got an idea and you're just not sure where to go with it. And the coaching sessions, the one-on-ones really kind of lead to hopefully helping you get started. But what I'm working on is just a Facebook group to where people can really post their questions not the Facebook groups that I'm a part of. I'm not knocking nobody Facebook. But I think what's missing from some of the Facebook groups is that complete honesty. If you ask me like, why is insurance so high? And I'm gonna say, well, you probably got a messed up driving record. Or that's just what the nature of the beast of being in transportation. Whether you transport people or cargo, insurance is high. It's just high. But I think that the Facebook group, once I roll it out, I think that would help a lot of people that are just starting. Because even if you start any business, you really what you don't want to do is kind of wing it yourself. And I think a lot of people feel like, once I started, I don't need that guidance. And I've been doing it for a little while, and I meet with my business coach every month. I'm logged onto Zoom with my mentoring group twice a week on Zoom. Wow. Because you have to surround yourself with people that are like-minded, but they may be thinking of stuff that you haven't thought about when it comes to your business or your entrepreneurship life.
Very true.
It's rough.
Very true.
It's not for the weak at heart.
Yeah. So you guys, so she does offer, help. We're going to be leaving a link in the description with all our information, so you can contact with her there. Yes. So we have our last question, which is from Mario. Mario asks, very interesting video, and thank you very much for providing a lot of information for those who are interested in this type of business. One question, what kind of driver's license is needed for this type of business?
Regular Class C.
Regular Class C.
But like you said, don't be having a whole bunch of tickets. Because you think about, like, if you're a business owner at some point, you're going to want to hire people. And I can't be saying, look, you can't have no jacked up driver record and mine messed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I won't say that you can't, but you just may not be a driver. I just decided, because I like driving. Eventually I would probably phase out of driving, but I like driving, so I own and I drive. I see. So yes, Stephanie, so what can people expect in the future of S Courier and Transportation? Like, what's the future look like for that? Are you thinking about hiring, expanding? You mentioned that you don't want to drive forever. So what does the future look like? So what the future looks like. So short-term future, I am hiring for like independent contractors in the Charlotte, Mecklenburg area. And I'm looking for probably like 5 to 8 new drivers, but with the independent contract, you have to have your own vehicle. So that way I can still pay people and hire people, but I don't have to necessarily foot the bill for, new vehicles. And I want to really dive into concierge service. And that could, in my mind anyway, it looks more like still working with the school system, but more of a concierge service. So when you have people that travel to Charlotte area, whether it's from the airport, whether it's you need a ride from, to your hotel, if you are, speaking at a conference or something, and you have a group of people. So that's one side. And the other side is I'm really diving into government contracts and working with the government to where I could do different things, whether it's training and still teaching, whether it's working with FEMA, doing emergency situations where transportation is needed. So government contracting is, like what I'm really, really focusing on, really, hard right now.
That's awesome. So, and you're also doing your consultation services.
So I do.
So yeah, give us a quick breakdown. Tell us about the $10 challenge. What is that about? Because I see that everywhere.
You see it.
I see it everywhere. It's promoted.
I'm about to put it on the billboard.
I'll be looking forward to seeing it. I'm like, I know her.
So the $10 challenge was something that kind of spiral from just again, that's conversations with like-minded people. And I was like, I could, do something like that. So the $10 challenge is the first one is you just want to be an entrepreneur, not necessarily NEMT, but you just want to start your business and you just don't know what to do. Like you don't know what you gotta do. So it's 60 minutes for $10. You get 60 minutes of straight instruction on how to set up your business foundation successfully, like how to get it set up. If you decide that you want the VIP, because you like the VIP experience, Ryan. So if you want the VIP experience, it's $37, but that gives you another hour for me to answer all your questions, and I give you the replay.
I see.
And that's the first week. That's the first challenge. The second challenge is, of course, starting your own NEMT business. And that's $10, 60 minutes of instruction. And if you want to be able to answer questions and get the replay, and I'm gonna give out some bonuses. I got a couple of great books to read that I'm gonna give to some new entrepreneurs, but that one is strictly for NEMT, and then you get to add same thing, VIP, get to ask all your questions. I'm gonna probably have to limit it like 3 questions per person or something. I'll send you the replay, so you can always go back and listen to it.
So I'm sure everybody's watching this like, I'm interested. How can I sign up?
Listen, go to my website. My website is www.stunninglystephanie.com. And when you click on services, it lists all my services, and then you'll see the picture that has Stephanie's $10 challenge, and then it has the $10 NEMT challenge, and you just kind of choose if you want the $10 one or you want the VIP experience.
Awesome. We will be pinning that link into the description. So if you are interested, it sounds like a great deal. $10. You can't. It's $10.
I feel like you can't beat $10.
Come on, you can find $10.
I was like $10. Like you can't beat $10. And I'm gonna give you from starting your NEMT business, from getting your Medicaid number, from getting that NPI number. We're gonna even talk about business credit. Like you got to get them some gas. Y'all got to get gas cards. Like you can't slip on business credit. Like you got to.
I guess some people, people shouldn't look at it as an expense. People should look at it as an investment. It's an investment. It's an investment. The first step to getting your mentor, right?
First step, like once you get, I'm telling you, like I enjoy helping other people. Sometimes, I've gotten what people say, like, you gotta stop giving away so much free information. I'm like, why? Because if I don't let people know that I know what I'm talking about, then you're not gonna trust me with a consultation. You sure enough ain't gonna trust me with mentoring you throughout your entrepreneurship path.
Exactly.
Like you're not gonna. So I don't give out the information to get something in return, but I know people was like, so hush hush. I was like, damn, is this the FBI? Like why people don't want to share their information? I don't know, because I feel like if I have it, why would I hold on to it? I have to share it. Like it's my responsibility.
Absolutely. And that's how you get out there and get that personal brand going, and that's how like, that's Stephanie, right? That's Stephanie, right? That's how right? Woman in transportation, right?
Woman in transportation.
That's right. So yeah, so what about your transportation business? So the S Courier Transportation, are you hiring for that at the moment? Any events?
So I'm hiring. I know I talked about the independent contractor. My daughter was my dispatcher / admin. So eventually I'm gonna have to find somebody to fill her position. But right now I just I will say I have really good systems in place which help So a lot of stuff is on automation, even like my social media posts on
Nice.
automation. So I am hiring for that. That's all I got right now.
Awesome. And where can people connect with you? Because everybody has some questions, I'm sure. Everybody wants to connect with Stephanie. So where can they go?
So I gave my website, which is stunninglystephanie.com, and I have where you could join my website. And if you join my website, I usually send out newsletters like every quarter, just kind of update, give you an update on what might be going on, whether it's, some grant information. I usually try to, share that stuff on Facebook. I always forget, Ryan. This is where I messed up at, because I should have had all my social media as the daggone same name, so that way I wouldn't have to, be looking to figure out what it is. But
it's all right. It's all right. I will pin it. It's all right.
Okay.
I will pin it.
Okay.
It's all right.
But I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on TikTok for sure, and I'm on LinkedIn.
I see. What are you on most? I don't know. I feel like you're killing it on TikTok, but I mean, that's my opinion. So what do you think you want more?
I feel like TikTok accepts me as I am. Like I don't have to do a lot of retakes on the video. Yeah. I don't wear makeup and all that.
Very candid.
I could just kind of. I think I'm on TikTok more, but if you had if you have Business Suite, so what I do is schedule my content for Facebook and Instagram. So I might make the video in TikTok or on my phone, and then I'll share it to Instagram or Facebook. But what I do know is that I get more feedback and more people contacting me for whether it's my ebook, whether it's for services, mostly through TikTok.
Got it. So yeah, so there's many ways to contact Stephanie. She's more than happy to help in any way possible. Because I know you took in a lot of information in this interview, and I mean, we are definitely grateful to get this opportunity to sit down with her and learn, because at the same time, I'm learning just as much as you all are learning also. So like I said, we will leave her contact information in the description of this video. And we appreciate you for watching this video. And
I appreciate you reaching out. Like I was like, look, I follow this guy. I subscribe to his channel.
Awesome.
I was like, so I appreciate you having this platform, because it's not a lot of platforms, especially on YouTube, where you actually get in to sit down and talk to people that own or that are, that own an NEMT business or transportation business. So I definitely salute you for having this platform for us to share our stories.
Awesome. I love to hear the stories. And I'm looking forward to hearing an update too, I'm excited to hear an update, of the $10 challenge and the Facebook groups and especially when you start taking off, when you get that billboard.
Man, listen, I'm gonna let you, when I get that billboard, when I get my brick and mortar, like when I get my building, you're gonna know.
Oh yeah.
I have a ride.
Oh yeah.
I got like a fleet of vehicles.
Oh yeah.
Go out there and drive. I'm on vacation somewhere.
That's amazing.
That's when I have a ride.
That's amazing. So yeah, so thank you all for watching the video, and we will see you in the next one. Later.